Yeah. Oh.
Hello. How are you all doing? Are you good? Are you Gucci? Are you Gucci? Are you good? I'm getting in the Christmassy spirit, as you can see, so happy holidays to you and yours. Tonight's stream will be recorded once again. I'm trying out a little bit something different on this channel, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this new style of content. I want to bring it to you a little bit more frequently, and that gives me a little bit more time for me to focus on some of these bigger dives that take a long time to produce. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Okay, so I saw a comment whilst we were listening to the music from Perks. They said, no offense, but I'm just wondering what correlation does Mr. Beast and Jason Derulo has? Don't you worry, sweetheart. All will be revealed today. I'm going to be honest. I got a little bit peed off a little bit earlier today. I was actually really peed off. A story that I have been following to do with Jason Derulo has kind of had some new advancements. And I felt some kind of way about, I'm just going to be honest. Do you know what? I'm trying to be careful with my words, right? Because I feel like every single time, this is just me personally, I feel like every time I speak about something and I am passionate and very forthcoming with the way that I speak, I get this label as aggressive, angry, constantly. So I try my best to be able to vocalize myself in a way that is, I guess, palatable for everybody, so that I don't intentionally hurt people's feelings, or I don't unintentionally hurt people's feelings. And I'm just so over it. I'm just gonna be honest, I'm so over it. I need to be able to say what it is that I think and what it is that's going on in this crazy mind of mine without having this, impeding doom that oh my gosh, you're gonna say the wrong thing. I just need to be able to just speak my mind. So this is what this is for. It's for me to be able to be flagrantly honest about how it is that I feel. Jason Derulo, if you don't know who Jason Derulo is, I'm gonna give you a quick bio. Jason Derulo is, I guess you would consider him a content creator now, but he is a singer, he is a songwriter. He was extremely big in the early 2010s, I would say, and probably even a little bit earlier. Most popular for his extreme smash hit song, What You Say. And then after that, he had a spell of dating Jordan Sparks. I don't know whether you remember that. They had a bit of a messy breakup. Jordan Sparks was one of those, purity ring kind of girlies. And then as soon as they broke up, Jason Derulo decided to tell the world, yeah, I smashed. And everybody kind of had a weird vibe about Jason Derulo. I feel like collectively on social media, everybody's we enjoy the hits, but in terms of him as a person, I don't think he's ever really been able to make that connection with the audience. Hence why his career, for me, goes in waves. It goes from extreme high points where he's having hit after hit after hit to extreme low points where we literally hear nothing from him. And I think what's happened more recently is he is trying his best to develop a new fan base, to develop a fan base of people who will enjoy him. So he has made the swift change to produce a hell of a lot of content on TikTok in order not only to promote his music, but also to promote him as a person that people can enjoy. Now, recently what has happened with Jason Derulo is he has been involved in sexual harassment allegations as well as sexual intimidation. And this is from a woman by the name of, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Amaza. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Amaza. She basically stated that she used to work for Jason Derulo underneath Atlantic Records, he was helping her out. The moment she didn't accept his advances, that's when things kind of went south and he completely nuked her career. That's the way it comes across to me. Now, this case got dismissed. I think it got dismissed in April of this year, but the reason it was dismissed was because of a jurisdictional issue, nothing to do with the actual case itself. So let's take a quick look, and as we go through this journey, you will understand how this all correlates to Mr. Beast in some capacity. So let's take a look at this article real quick. This article is from BBC News, and it says Jason Derulo sued for sexual harassment by fellow singer. This was posted on the 6th of October 2023. UK star Jason Derulo has been accused of sexual harassment in a legal case launched by the singer who was signed to his record label. Amaza Gibson, who was offered a recording contract with Derulo's imprint, is now suing him, alleging that he ended their working relationship after she denied his sexual advances. Miss Gibson told NBC News she had been left traumatized by the experience. Jason Derulo denied these claims, calling them completely false and hurtful. Miss Gibson, 25, filed her complaint against Derulo, 34, on Thursday in Los Angeles Superior Court, saying he maliciously promised her success and then denied her the opportunity. She alleges quid pro quo, sexual harassment, breach of contract, and intimidation and violence, among other complaints. This is what she said. She said, "I'm at this point right now, and it's very heartbreaking," she said in an interview with NBC on Wednesday. "I have anxiety, I'm traumatized, and I've dealt with inhumane work situations. I'm at a point where I'm back to zero and I have nothing." In the court documents, Miss Gibson says Derulo offered her a contract with his label Future History in August of 2022, and they began working together that November. However, she claims the singer repeatedly pressured her to socialize with him, and that there was explicit demand for sex in exchange for success. On one occasion, he allegedly told her that she would be required to partake in a sex ritual called goat skin and fish scales. Now, what I will say is, whether you believe in the ritualistic things that take place in Hollywood or not, this is neither here nor there. The part that I genuinely want to focus on is sexual harassment and sexual intimidation. So, whilst we're listening to this, if you don't believe in all of that shenanigans, just put it to the side, right? Which involves sacrificing a goat and taking cocaine. Miss Gibson also claims that she was plied with inappropriately large amounts of alcohol. Her lawyer, Ron Zambrano, said in a statement that Derulo's behavior towards the young artist was despicable. He not only broke promises and breached contracts, but his threats of physical harm and unconscionable bad sexual advances towards this young woman who is trying to break into the industry was outrageous and illegal. The whole situation did not make its way into court at all because it ended up getting dismissed. Now, the case was dismissed in Los Angeles, but they basically said that it was a jurisdictional issue. So this is what a People article has to say about that. Jason Derulo's sexual harassment lawsuit dismissed on technicality, but will be refiled in New York. This was on the 18th of April this year. It says sexual harassment case filed against Jason Derulo has been dismissed on a technicality, but the case isn't over yet. People can confirm that the suit with aspiring artist Amaza Gibson filed in October 2023 against Derulo, alleging that he ended their working relationship after she had denied his sexual advances, was dismissed by Los Angeles court on Tuesday, April 16th, due to a technicality. According to Gibson's attorney, the California judge agreed on a change of venue, so the plaintiff and her legal team can refile in New York City. They said this case is still very much in play. Zambrano said in a statement to People, the judge did not rule on the merits of the plaintiff's claims, but merely changed the venue. He continued, the allegations against Derulo by Miss Gibson remain unchanged, and we remain committed to holding him accountable for his reprehensible and illegal conduct. The lawsuit will be refiled in New York, and we fully intend to win. So that is where we were left with the lawsuit. When shortly after this whole situation took place, Jason Derulo decided to come to social media to basically address all of the allegations surrounding this suit. Let's take a quick look at that.
But these claims are completely false and hurtful. I stand against all forms of harassment, and I remain supportive of anybody following their dreams. I've always strived to live my life in a positively impactful way, and that's why I sit here before you deeply offended by these defamatory claims. God bless.
Okay, so this is what he says in the statement above. This was 59 weeks ago, so almost a year. It says, I wouldn't normally comment, but these claims are completely false and hurtful. I stand against all forms of harassment and remain supportive of anyone following their dreams. So basically, it's exactly the same thing it is that he said in the actual video. Okay, so after that whole situation happened, we didn't really hear much about the lawsuit to do with Jason Derulo and Miss Gibson at all. This was until yesterday. I got a notification from this Emza Gibson. As I said, I have been following this story for a little bit already, and she has come forward to not only bring new claims and new allegations against Jason Derulo, but also to state that I guess sometime within the next 24 hours, this case will be refiled in either a New York jurisdiction or a Miami jurisdiction per the request of the Los Angeles court. So this is what she had to say. I want you guys to see this. All of this will all make sense, I promise you. Right, this is what it is that she has to say. This is Emza Gibson.
Records. If you've been keeping up with me throughout my whole musical career, influencing social media, you guys know the battle I've been fighting just to be an artist. If you're new because you found out about this lawsuit, I'm just here to give an update for people that care and that just want to know what's going on. This situation definitely did a major detour in my life. When I signed to Atlantic Records and Jason Derulo, paperwork was signed in 2022, early 2022. Everything that you've been hearing, you know, regarding the Shade Room, Daily Mail, other people covering my lawsuit, that's what happened. And it landed me here in this lawsuit that I filed later in 2022. Tomorrow.
Okay. First point that I want you guys to pin on a sticky pad right now is that this lawsuit has been going on now for a prolonged period of time, and loads of different media outlets, whether that's big or small, from Daily Mail to the Shade Room, have been covering this. This is not brand new information. Everybody has known about this situation who has been around the circle or understands anything to do with Jason Derulo.
I find out if the lawsuit is going to take place here in LA or in New York. So I know a lot of people have been asking what's been going on, what's the status, and then you have the negative side like, oh, that's why this, and this isn't going on. And when it comes to the justice system or any lawsuit, that stuff takes time. It's a whole process. So I filed this back in 2022. It's 2024. And I'm still fighting. It's very unfortunate, but it's not surprising. I know from my knowledge, and I'm not here to claim nothing, just the way timing presented itself, I was the first person from the industry to speak up on what goes on in the industry publicly. And then you had Cassie's lawsuit with Diddy, and that stuff is unfolding from Diddy to Usher to Justin Bieber to, you know, all these other celebrities. And I just been recovering. I'm in a transition with my life. I've been in the biggest transition, just trying to get back on my feet. I had to take therapy.
The unfortunate thing is that, you know, things keep getting thrown at you. So it's hard. And it's like you against the system.
Like, I want to make sure I'm doing better. I really do. So maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I just want to be done with all of this. And it's so crazy because people throw this in my face too online, and it's so bad. It's so bad because people don't know what I went through. I'm scared. Like, I really feel like, I'm so scared. I'm so scared because, like, people don't come out about this stuff.
And it's crazy because this is a fully licensed therapist, legit. And I told her everything that was going on, and I mentioned the goat skin and fish scales ritual that Jason told me I had to do in order to move forward in my career and be successful. And she confirmed, she's like, I'm not saying yes, nodding my head or agreeing with you just to, you know, make you feel comfortable and, you know, make you feel like you're right. She's like, no, I have clients, I've done research, and these activities, rituals and things do exist. It's real. She said, you're fighting the devil.
Again, I'm just going to say completely disregard if you don't believe in all of that shenanigans, because I don't think that that's the most important part. It's what she's going to say.
And I've been in this battle of good versus evil. So that really blew my mind to hear her say that. I'm like, dang, I'm not crazy. And if you don't do them, you won't go further. Obviously, I didn't do them. And look where my deal went. But another peer in the industry was like, Maja, they only let you go so far. And I'm just like, you know, just my energy. I got so far. I was signed to Jay-Z, Rock Nation. It was on Forbes, Savage X Fenty fashion show. Forever 21, K-Swiss. Our song is on Sims, Dumbstruck, Sims 4, I believe. Soundtracks, VH1. I was doing a lot. And I didn't have to do anything up to that point. Like, I didn't have to sleep with nobody. I didn't have to do anything against my morals. I didn't have to do nothing to get to that point. It was just pure hard work. Even when I got signed, I'm like, okay, got it locked in. You know, I got the blueprint. I could just keep going. And I went till I couldn't go no more. It really took a toll on me. It still takes a toll on me. I'm able to talk about it now and be more calm. I used to, now I get upset about it, but I'm trying to learn how to communicate without getting riled up for my health. And yeah, so when I filed the lawsuit, you know, I talked to the Shade Room, talked to Daily Mail, talked to NBC. I appreciate these platforms for sharing my story because there's a lot of people going through stuff right now and they're not heard and they're asking for help. And I am a person that's actively alive, went through the industry, went through these things, and I'm still fighting. So a lot of people are like, oh, why are you still talking about it? You want clout? And it's like, no, I'm giving an update. This is my life. My life fully stopped in certain areas of, in my life. Because of this, my plan was to be successful, celebrate my deal and work hard. And that was taken from me. It was robbed. It was snatched, whatever you want to call it. And I'm still trying to do stuff independently. And I do feel like I'm being sabotaged still. But there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to figure it out. Always going to figure it out. But there's a couple things that stuck out to me as this situation progressed. They try to have my case thrown out, saying it needed to be in New York. That's what we're trying to figure out now. I was told by my A&R, Aton Ben Horn at the time, Atlantic wants you to win, but we can't say the same for Jason. You got to be on his good side. So what's his good side? Doing goat skin and fish scales, drinking alcohol at the studio, which I didn't want to do, but I was pressured to do. I need to sing. Ridiculous, but I got a DM throughout this process from a female that...
Okay, so this is the important part where she gets a DM. So now, on top of the allegations that she's obviously levied against Jason Derulo of sexual intimidation and sexual harassment, she then gets a DM from somebody supporting her for speaking her truth, who details their own experience with Jason Derulo.
I was involved with Jason Derulo, and I'll put the screenshots up here.
Okay, so it says, I'm so glad that you stepped forward. This is the person who messaged her about how awful this man is. He's done a lot of shady shit with me as well, but I never came forward. Kudos to you. Then she said, thank you so much. This has been tough. I'm sorry to hear that. What was your experience with him like? What did he do? Then it continues. She said, we met through his cousin, Movie. I'm sure you know him. When the pandemic first shut everything down, March 2020. I got invited to his crib to vibe and potentially collab on some music. I ended up sitting down in a studio session and everyone was getting hammered. Next thing you know, I'm too drunk to leave and Movie takes me back to the main house. This is back when he lived in the Tarzana house. I think that's how you say that. And points to a room upstairs and tells me to go lay down there. I woke up to Jason effing me and I was completely undressed. To be honest, I would have had sex with him had it have happened a different way. So I started, and it's going to continue.
He said that she was offered alcohol at the studio, passed out. Before she passed out, his cousin Movie. And it's crazy because she knows exactly who this is.
Okay, so it says, to be honest, I would have had sex with him had it have happened a different way. So I started convincing myself that I was fine with it, even though I knew it wasn't consensual. I don't know if anybody else has had the kind of life I've had, but does that feel fucking familiar? Because I know it feels familiar for me. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get through this without being angry, but I'm genuinely ticked off. Anyway, I never told anyone about it because I wanted to keep his network, so I buried it in my mind. Next thing you know, he's inviting me to his house at least once a week to quarantine, work on music, TikTok ideas, lay by the pool, etc. Every time he expected sex. He started asking me if I like girls and if I'd have a threesome with him if he found a girl that was my type. Then I heard rumors that he's dating Jenna. So I asked him, Jenna is his current girlfriend who he has a kid with. So I asked him if this was true. because we had been sleeping together for months at this point. He swore up and down that him and Jenna was a publicity stunt. A few months later, find out that Gemma is pregnant with his child and is moving in, etc. And my number got blocked. He unblocked me an entire year later, reaching out, claiming that they had broke up and that he wanted me to come and work at the studio. That day, he was recording Don't Cry For Me and needed a woman's voice recording on the cell phone for some background ad-lib, and asked me if I could do it real quick in a voice memo. I felt pressured to because his producer was like, come on, and then you can get your foot in the door, but got nothing.
I know this man was been in my session before, took her to Jason's room, and then she woke up with him inside of her. Yeah.
It continues, he's just full of lies, false promises, and a misogynist womanizer. She replies, oh my God, I'm so sorry you went through that. You should report it to the police. Do you have someone you can go with? If you want to text, my number is blank. She said, I thought about it a long time ago, but I got way too scared, so ignored. You're brave, girl. She continues, thank you so much. Hearing your story upsets me because it means there's a lot more of us. I had to get my parents involved because I felt unsafe around him alone. She says, wow. Then she says, it happens too often with celebrities, unfortunately, and unless you have proof, it's difficult to be heard. And then they pretend that they don't know you, and society thinks that you're just out for a check, and it's so frustrating. She followed up by saying, I understand you completely. I'm here if you need anything, so don't hesitate to text me. So, at this present moment in time, not only do we have allegations of sexual harassment and sexual intimidation in the workplace, as well as breach of contract and all of the other random allegations as well, but the main ones that I want to focus on, sexual harassment, sexual intimidation. Then she has another alleged victim that comes forward to her to say, thank you for speaking, thank you for using your voice, and a similar situation happened to me, but I was R-worded by Jason Derulo. At that point, that's when I started getting ticked off. And you're probably wondering to yourself, why are you getting ticked off? Why is this whole situation peeing you off so much? Well, let me explain. So after this video, she basically states that the whole court case is going to move jurisdiction, and within the next 24 hours she will find out whether it's going to be in Miami or whether it's going to be in New York, and where the filing is going to be next. That's what she's basically updating the audience to say. But she also dropped this bomb. This video has 6,100 views and was posted over 24 hours ago. Now, the reason that this situation peed me off so much is because Jason Derulo is extremely friendly with Rosanna Pansino. And I don't know what other way to put this, but if Mr. Beast bad, which we all agree, I feel like, can the choir fucking sing? Mr. Beast bad, terrible. We don't fuck with him. We don't want to fuck with him. See you later. Goodbye, right? But when it comes to Jason Derulo, I would say that he is objectively worse. And you got to remember that whilst the case was dismissed, it was only dismissed based on jurisdiction, nothing more and nothing less. So I question, what kind of person hangs out with another person who has a pending sexual harassment and sexual intimidation lawsuit? Am I losing my mind? Am I losing my mind? So let's take a look at Rosanna Pansino's friendship with Jason Derulo, shall we?
Please don't. No.
One, two, three.
You got this. You got this.
Oh, that's... Oh. Come on, you can do it. Oh,
Sophie, no.
I know, really. It's good for your hair.
Oh.
All right, up. How did I make it down to the last few?
That shit hurt, actually.
Okay, there we have it. Jason Derulo and Rosanna Pansino hanging out on, or when this was posted, on November the 2nd, 2024. Jason Derulo posted this and said it was an excellent game. She reposted it and said, I had an excellent time hanging out with y'all, right? Now, we could sit here and say, maybe she didn't know. Maybe she has no freaking idea that any of this took place. I would argue that if the comments section didn't reflect otherwise. We have somebody else who says, complains about workplace harassment from Mr. Beast, yet hangs out with Jason Derulo. You are really without morals, care, or conscience. Laugh my ass off. Then somebody else said, posted this screenshot. It says, Jason Derulo says Diddy is innocent until proven guilty amid federal drama. We will get into Jason Derulo's connections to Diddy in a moment, right? Then we have, I'm confused. You're mad at Mr. Beast for being friends with Logan, but you're making videos with Jason Derulo, who is facing sex harassment charges and is a crypto scammer? Oh, if you didn't know, Jason Derulo has been dragged across the internet by the likes of CoffeeZilla, Scott Schaefer, and a bunch of those other We Detect Scams YouTubers because he continuously endorses crypto scams. Very much similar to what we hear about Mr. Beast currently, that whole situation, except Jason Derulo is extremely flagrant with it.
Now, he's not new to crypto. In fact, he's done other scams in the past, documented by Zach XBT. Here's a few of the screenshots of him promoting various projects. Little pump and dumps there. But now he decides, I've got to launch my own coin on pump.fun. Jason Derulo makes his own coin and then posts this immediately afterwards, apologizing.
Hey, what's up, people? Listen, the bullshit that happened today in the crypto space was absolutely crazy. I apologize to everybody affected.
I like how he's like, what happened in the crypto space? You mean what happened in your coin? It's like doing something bad and being like, hey, stuff that happened today on planet Earth. Crazy, man. Sorry about that.
He has also been called out by Jax Films and a bunch of other content creators in the commentary space because he does reaction videos very similar to Sniper Wolf, where he will sit there, not do anything, not say anything, not add anything to the actual video, and completely poach and steal other content creators' material in order to make the bulk of their content. This is what Jason Derulo is presently doing on YouTube Shorts.
This is not a joke. All he does on his YouTube channel is like make a face at other people's TikToks while blasting his own music over it. Hell, most of the time he doesn't even show up. It's just someone else's TikTok with his music playing over it. I may have left a comment on some of them, or 20. But here's where it gets kooky. As I was editing this video, I noticed something strange. And at first I thought, no, there's no way. So I took some of his videos and played them side by side and confirmed that yes, Jason Derulo 100% reuses his own footage across multiple videos. How do you make reacting, which is easily the laziest subgenre of YouTube, even lazier? Some poor editor is just copying and pasting Jason Derulo's footage across multiple videos.
And he got dragged across the internet. So not only in the internet, in the realm of the internet, is he just not so much of a great guy, he also has these allegations levied against him. Okay, that's not enough. Okay, let's take another one. Here's another situation on Instagram. Here's a photo on Rosanna Pansino's Instagram from 5 weeks ago. It's truly amazing how fast time flies by when you're having fun. As a social butterfly, I love meeting new people and bringing amazing friends together, feeling grateful for all the talented and creative people in my life who inspire me and have become friends. Not enough? Okay, let's bring some more up. Because there's plenty of instances of Rosanna Pansino chilling with Jason Derulo. We've got this one over here on Rosanna Pansino's YouTube channel. Okay, that's not enough for you guys. One more. Let's do one more. Have we got one more? Or is it two more? No, it's one more. Let's take a look at one more. Just for reference, this was on the 27th of January 2024, before the case was dismissed in April. Yeah. Now, the reason this pisses me off is because this whole situation with Rosanna Pansino that I've noticed recently is that she seems to constantly speak about the victims. There's victims, there's victims, there's victims. There's victims of Mr. Beast who deserve to have their voices heard. There's victims of Mr. Beast who need to share their story. There's victims of Mr. Beast who need to share their information with me. And I'm just coming forward and sharing my thoughts on, I just want to save the victims. Rosanna Pansino, you don't give a fuck about victims. You don't give a fuck about victims. You don't give a fuck about victims. You don't care about victims. You don't care about victims. You can't care about victims. Or do you only care about victims when it is about somebody that you don't like? There is no way in God's fucking name that you should be hanging out with somebody like this. Not just one time, but numerous times to promote his music. I don't know if there is like a financial transaction that's taking place here. Like if you promote me and we collab and we do stuff together, you'll post me and I'll post you. I don't know if there's a situation where finances are involved, but it's very fucking sus. It's very fucking sus. If Mr. Beast is supposed to be a terrible person because he was a long-standing friend of Ava Chris Tyson, right? Then what in the fuck is this? You're literally hanging out with somebody who has pending charges. One girl alleges she was R-worded by him. Now, forgive me, Mr. Beast might be a piece of shit and he's done some terrible fucking things. I don't believe he's fucking R-worded anyone. I don't think there's even a single allegation of Mr. Beast R-wording someone. But yet this is the company that she chooses to fucking keep. And we could sit there and say, maybe she didn't know. The comments under all of these posts are literally people saying, why are you fucking hanging out with this guy? She don't give a fuck. She don't give a fuck until it begins to affect her. Because if you guys remember, I'm going to take you down a stroll of memory lane. Because Colleen Ballinger had a relationship with Rosanna Pansino, right? They were really friendly. They did videos together. Their kids hung out with each other. They had a really friendly relationship. After the whole Mr. Beast allegations had come forward, Rosanna Pansino was facing a lot of backlash for still being, or what many presume to be still being friendly with Colleen Ballinger because she was refusing to take down her Colleen Ballinger videos. People were atting her, were DMing her, were saying, hey, can you stop, posting Colleen Ballinger? It's all over your channel. Have you not seen what she did to Adam McIntyre? Have you not seen what she did to Emily? Have you not seen what she did to her audience? She's a terrible person. She's a groomer, and she did nothing about it. Only when it began to question her integrity when it came to the Mr. Beast case did Rosanna Pansino then formally come forward to distance herself from Colleen Ballinger. So let's take a trip down memory lane with Spill Sash.
Rosanna Pansino has been in a lot of conversations over the last few weeks, which is not something that she's used to, as she's been pretty unproblematic, avoiding any sort of drama up until now. But she recently had called out Mr. Beast for his edit of her in his $1 million hide-and-seek challenge. She had gone on Trisha Paytas' podcast to talk about it and also put out a statement that she later deleted. She also ended up apologizing to Mr. Beast and then later retracting the statement, saying that she realized certain issues would never be handled privately, only covered up or dismissed. As time has passed from the Mr. Beast situation, she's now come out to address an entirely different situation. She's addressing questions that she's received about what kind of terms she's on with Colleen Ballinger, and she wants to let everybody know that she's no longer in communication with her. It definitely did feel a little random that she was suddenly tweeting this out, but we'll get into why I think she was bringing this up now. As I'm sure we all know by now, Colleen was called out for a number of things over the summer. Each day, new information seemed to be brought to light, exposing conversations that she had with minor fans behind the scenes.
Magdalena just says she wants to have her cake and eat it at the same time. Very much that. Very much that. Like, before I was like, maybe she just is wrong and doesn't know how to retract it in a good way. I genuinely think now, when it comes to the Dog Pat 404 and Rosanna Pansino situation, that this was maliciously done, because there is absolutely no way that you could put such stringent stipulations on other people to behave in a particular manner when this is the company that you're keeping. And I'm sorry, we could say that she didn't know. That bullshit. The comments say otherwise. There are literally other people calling Rosanna Pansino out. I called Rosanna Pansino out at the time on Twitter. I called her out at the time, but then I didn't realize that we had gone not just from the realm of like sexual harassment and sexual intimidation. We now have allegations of R-word. Now, granted, she didn't know that at the time, because this has only been like 24 hours. I very much doubt that Rosanna Pansino is aware of the new allegations that are coming forward. But by God, the allegations that were here already are already fucking bad enough. There is no way that I am associating or being friends with somebody knowing that they've got that kind of history. And I'm refusing to believe that she didn't know, because her comments are reflecting otherwise. That woman is malicious. Malicious.
But in terms of Rosanna and how she ties into all of this, is that she recently decided to put a statement out about Colleen and what had been said about Colleen and the terms that she's on with her. She recently tweeted out, addressing your questions about Colleen. And it's these two statements in which she says, the whole situation makes me feel sad and breaks my heart. I'm still processing my feelings. I do believe that the behavior was inappropriate, mean-spirited, and I no longer communicate with her. I found out when everyone else did, perhaps even later. When the news broke, I was traveling out of state to finally pick up all the things my dad left for me after he passed away, and to help my mom go through more of his belongings. It was emotionally exhausting. I was not online much at all because I was focusing on my own healing with my family. I have not said anything publicly for a few reasons. One, I do not have any new information or insight to add. I never personally witnessed that kind of behavior, wasn't aware of it, nor did I participate. My memories of our time together were with family and was very wholesome. My nephew adored her son, and they love playing together. Obviously, I don't support or condone the behavior that was made public. Two, I feel that the most important thing in this situation is that the affected people's voices are heard, which I believe they now are. Three, I like to hear both sides when possible. While it's easy to jump onto the side of public opinion, I was hoping for some sort of apology or explanation at some point, which hasn't happened. I hope people come to understand that.
I'm struggling to understand why Colleen Ballinger would have to approach Rosanna Pansino to apologize. If Rosanna Pansino's experiences with Colleen Ballinger was wholesome, family friendly, she never experienced anything, she never saw anything or thought that anything was untoward, why on earth would Colleen Ballinger reach out to Rosanna Pansino to say anything at all? That, for me, was kind of weird. But what makes this whole situation even worse for me is the fact that she, in my humble opinion, has, befriended Adam McIntyre as kind of like a cloak against her, so that like, oh, don't worry, everything's cool. I'm friends with one of the victims. We're friends. We're besties now. We hang out. We did a podcast. We open champagne bottles together or whatever. Yeah, no, it's cool. Everything's cool. I genuinely believe that Adam McIntyre has been used. And I genuinely believe that Rosanna Pansino actually gives zero fucks about any kind of victim. I think she only favors herself and whatever benefits her.
When you first made your video, I felt like I could relate to so much of what you were saying and how you were feeling, because I've had experiences in entertainment where not the exact same thing happened to me, but I've been put in situations that just didn't sit right. I felt for you, and I felt connected to you that way, because I felt like he doesn't even know it, but we have something in common.
Yeah, you made sure to let me know.
I was like, I was pretty private about kind of losing a friendship, because I didn't really have the full picture And I also had someone who wasn't being honest with me. I think it's like hard when you've been friends with someone for so long and you think that they're one way and you learn that there's another side to them that you didn't know. Just that took a really long time for me to process, and I just did not know how to work through that. And I had never really had that happen.
Because I find it very interesting also that after the launch of all of this, she's now launching this podcast as well. So we've now got the Ridiculous podcast, which, what can I say, right? I was speaking to one of my researchers. I said, listen, that podcast intro, the music, ridiculous, that's kind of a bop. That shit gets me moving. Like, I don't like her, but bitch, I'm moving. The shoulders are shimmying. I'm moving. And my researcher was just like, Paige, I hate it. It's the worst fucking song. I was like, God damn it. But I really thoroughly enjoy that intro. Sorry, I have to be unbiased here and just be like, yeah, that's a bop. That's a bop. But regardless of that tiny amount of praise, because fuck her, the tiny amount of praise that I'm giving her in this situation, she's now launched this podcast. This, for me, has been a way to propel herself away from the kid-friendly content that she has been known for. Her first episode was her smoking on her father. Literally rolled her dad into a doobie and smoked him on the podcast. Now, the way you choose to process your grief is completely up to you. But if I would be lying if I didn't say that I was like, you smoked on your dad? Hey, if that's how he wants to be commemorated, if you like it, I love it. It's fucking weird. I'm just saying that. It's fucking weird. That's weird. When all of this took place, she propelled herself. She's now literally distancing herself from that kid-friendly, the kid-friendly content it was that she was producing. She's now exposing her feet and doing wiki feet, doing things specifically for wiki feet. And if you don't know what wiki feet is, it's a foot fetish website where people literally screen capture pictures of celebrities and influencers' feet and rate them 1 to 10. It's literally the website. But because she wants to change up, she does it. She's having her JoJo Siwa era. That's what's happening right now. She's having a JoJo Siwa era, and she now wants to be, I'm not a girl, I'm not yet a woman. I can't be tamed, I can't be tamed. She's having her I can't be tamed moment. She's saying, I'm a big girl now, I've got my big girl panties, I am not the kid-friendly, nerdy nummies, fuck that. I'm Rosanna Pansino, bitch. That's what it's giving to me. And I just think, genuinely, that this whole situation has made me incredibly angry because at the center of this is genuine, real victims. I'm sat down and I'm watching a girl who has recorded her therapy session, and she's sitting there crying about the fear and that she's scared and that, these things are happening in the industry. It's ruined her relationship with music. She's crying, she's sobbing. She's literally there being a beacon for other victims and sharing their story upon their request. That is what caring about victims are. When you yourself are a victim and you still muster up that fucking strength to look after other victims. That's what giving a crap means. The moment you hear about something to do with Colleen Ballinger, somebody that you considered a friend, and the internet was saying, girl, get rid of these goddamn videos of Colleen Ballinger. Should have been the immediate moment that you took that shit down, but you didn't. You didn't listen to the audience. The same way that you're not listening to the audience presently who are telling you Jason Derulo has sexual harassment and sexual intimidation lawsuits that is pending against him, as well as now the new information, another allegation towards Jason Derulo where somebody alleges that they were R-worded by him. Mr. Beast, bad. Jason Derulo, ridiculously worse. Ridiculously worse. Okay? Ridiculously worse. This, to me, is the equivalent of like hanging out with fucking P. Diddy. And I am so fucking for real. And I don't want anyone to turn around and say, Paige, you're exaggerating. Why are you exaggerating? I am so fucking for real. Because if you didn't know, Jason Derulo was friends with P. Diddy. That's his boy. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Let me bring that up. Yeah, that was his boy, girl. That was his boy. So let's take a look at Jason Derulo supporting his boy Can we have a look? This is TMZ 7 months ago on April 10th, 2024. This is what Jason Derulo had to say about his boy.
I know that you worked with Diddy, you know, and he's helped your career a lot. Do you feel like people should be giving him some grace? Or at least giving him the grace of, you know, saying, you know, he is innocent until proven guilty?
I believe in that. I
Right.
believe in innocent before proven guilty, for sure.
Do you feel like they're kind of like going too hard on him maybe? I appreciate you. Thank you, Jason. Have a great day.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe he's innocent until proven guilty. Okay, yeah. So in the midst of everything, when we're seeing everything that's going on, the lawsuit from Cassie Ventura has gone live against P. Diddy just before P. Diddy decided to turn around and tell the world that he apologizes for the horrible things it is that he did to Cassie. This was obviously around the time that he also turned around and said that Cassie was a flagrant fucking liar, to which we now know that she isn't after we saw the video footage of Cassie was literally being dragged by her fucking hair in the middle of a hallway and then had a vase thrown at her as she laid there on the floor in the fetal position, quivering over a man with a huge ego and nothing to back it up. Yeah, I believe innocent until proven guilty. I would say I would believe in innocent until proven guilty. But at what point do we just say, nah, bro, I've seen enough? At what point do we just say, nah, bro? Nah, that's wild, no. You know what I mean? Here we are, Jason Derulo's relationship with Diddy. He actually met Diddy when he was 16 years old. So this is Jason Derulo speaking in a podcast about his relationship with Diddy and how he got in touch with Diddy.
Like, you know, I mean, because you start to get some attention. I mean, Diddy and Lil Wayne and others. I mean, how did those songs even get in front of those artists?
It was tricky, but Miami is really small. And I was working with all of these different up and coming producers, and somebody was bound to meet somebody.
Yeah.
We had P. Diddy down in Miami. We had Cash Money down in Miami. We had Timbaland and his crew down in Miami. So there was quite a bit of like music energy in Miami at that time, but it seemed like closed off. Like you couldn't like get in any way. And it wasn't until Diddy brought Making the Band to Miami, which was a TV show back in the day. I don't know if you remember that TV show. But he brought in like a ton of different producers and a ton of different writers from all over and flew everybody down, and everybody would record in this one studio. And I got invited to that studio by one of the producer friends that I knew. And I thought it was really interesting. But as a, 16, 17-year-old kid, I'm like, holy shit, like, what the fuck did I just walk into? And he sits me down. He's like, listen, I'm gonna give you a chance. You just have to write a song to this beat right here. So I take the boombox and he's like, go sit over there. He comes back like 10 minutes later and he's like, what you got? And I'll sing him the hook and he's like, all right, come in the studio. Meet Cassie.
Wow. I
And I'm like, holy shit, I get to meet Cassie? This is lit.
So during that time, he then gets to meet Cassie. Now, I'll leave you to figure out what in the fuck you think took place, but apparently, according to Jason Derulo, he sees P. Diddy as one of his mentors, as one of the people who really helped him get a come up in the music industry, because prior to then, he was just a songwriter, and he was like handing out his work to loads of different producers to help him out and all of this kind of stuff. And it was really Diddy who put him on at a young age and helped inspire and push his career online and in music. So that's kind of wild to me. It's wild to me. And the reason that's wild to me is because something tremendously disgusting, in my humble opinion, took place with Rosanna Pansino and Dog Pack. They made a video, this is a month ago, with 1.5 million views. It's Mr. Beast is a Criminal, in which they speak about philanthropy for kindness. So let's take a listen to the things it is that Rosanna Pansino and Dog Pack 404 allude to in this particular video.
Kindness for clicks, Mr. Beast and the problem with philanthropy as spectacle. There's like a whole piece on the exploitative content and poverty porn. This is by Nicole Slasky.
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of celebrities that I know that donate to existing charities, like Habitat for Humanity, Make-A-Wish. There's not many that I know that own their own charities. I want to remind everyone watching that a lot of powerful people hide behind the cloak of charity. There's a very interesting article about this. People like Weinstein did this, Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Cosby, all linked down below to that article.
So whilst talking about Mr. Beast's philanthropy and the things it is that they believe was faked, or the things it is that they believe was not based on truth or facts, like, you know, the eye surgery video and all of that kind of stuff, Rosanna Pansino then proceeds to say, of course, well, this is how I received this information, may I add. Of course, Mr. Beast is a rich millionaire dude. Of course he's into philanthropy. A lot of these celebrities hide behind philanthropy. Harvey Weinstein did. Jeffrey Epstein did. Bill Cosby did.
Article about the cloak of charity. Basically, to the public, you appear like you're doing a lot of goodwill and good things, and then behind closed doors is a very different story.
The filing also goes into Combs' philanthropic works, including his work with the Boys and Girls Club of America, his donations to open a charter school in New York, and his work fundraising to get PPE for frontline workers during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Here's a paper published.
Now, I understand that Mr. Beast is a complete and utter piece of shit. I get that, right? And I get that there are some people who feel that no matter what it is that he does, no matter what it is that he tries to clean up, no matter who it is that he tries to appoint and hire, it doesn't matter. The damage has been done. He has sullied his image, and we don't mess with Mr. Beast anymore. I vibe with that. Completely your prerogative. In fact, I would say that was my prerogative too, because I don't like Mr. Beast. I already said this a billion times. I don't like him, right? But to sit there and equate him to people who have R-worded victims is fucking crazy. I thought it was crazy at the time. But then you bring up the philanthropy of P. Diddy. That's Jason's friend. That's your boy's friend. That's your boy's friend. You're sitting there saying, oh, it all relates. P. Diddy and all of those people have closer connections to Jason Derulo than they have ever had. To Mr. Beast. Not a single soul has ever said that Mr. Beast has attempted to sexually assault them, sexually harass them, sexually intimidate them. Nobody has alleged that he R-worded them. What on earth do you mean, Rosanna Pansino? This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And then now, after finding out that this young girl who has gone through this whole situation, 2 years long situation with Jason Derulo on pending charges that we are now finding out the information about, is sitting there crying herself to sleep every fucking day. And people like Rosanna Pansino, despite seeing how many people are saying, girl, this is not the move, what are you talking about, doesn't do anything about it. Only when it affects her will she say anything. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. If another commentary channel takes this conversation that I'm having now and does their own interpretation of a similar video showing what Jason Derulo does, somebody with a far bigger reach, with a far bigger audience, with far bigger networks on social media, should this go forward and really make some noise, only then will Rosanna Pansino do anything. And I think that that is fucking disgusting. As somebody who literally hails themselves as the savior of victims, who retracted their apology to Mr. Beast because there were so many other victims that she felt that she needed to support. So what victims matter? All of them? Are all of the victims important? Or is it just the victims of people that you don't like that are important? This girl deserves just as much of a voice as the victims of Colleen Ballinger. This girl deserves much of the same support as the victims of Mr. Beast, if not fucking more. But you don't care. You don't care. And I bet that Jason Derulo's sweet, sweet check for that Margarita music video was so fucking good. Rosanna Pansino, you should be ashamed of yourself, quite frankly. When I tell you earlier today, I was like so angered by it. I was literally fucking shaking. Because how can you sit there and say that you are for the victims and you don't care? You don't care. The idea that there could even be possibly a victim would be enough to make me move, enough to make me get off my ass and tweet, or send a post, or take stuff down, or leave a statement, enough for me to do something. But just like when Rosanna Pansino was found literally wrong in some of the assertions it is that she made in her video, radio silence. But it's cool because she got the ridiculous podcast. And she's like, you know, cool mom now who smokes weed. I'm so incredibly over it. And I'm so incredibly done with this narrative that nobody can ever be critical of somebody because of how they present. It is this squeaky clean image of Rosanna Pansino that so many of her audience, as well as the internet at large, have got in their brains that has literally allowed us to get to this place where entire investigations are being completely completely sullied and victims' voices aren't being heard, which is the literal antithesis of the reason of why she stated she came forward, of why she continued to campaign, was because victims needed to be heard. So Rosanna Pansino, quite frankly, with peace and love, go fuck yourself.
Silencing legitimate criticism, especially when it comes to the physical and mental safety of others, is not okay.
With that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day or evening, whatever the hell it is you're doing. Thank you guys for tuning into this live stream. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and all of that good stuff. I'm so sorry this couldn't have been a happier stream. I will be live again tomorrow evening. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I want to go over the Oomtville video with you guys to do with Mr. Beast. I've watched it in full already, but I would love to watch it with you guys as well. So definitely go and check that out. That will be exclusively on Twitch. So definitely go ahead and check out my Twitch. It should be in the description box down below. And my final thoughts for today's video is, I love you and I care about you, and don't ever let anybody use you and your story as a shield. And until next time, you beautiful, amazing, badass bitches. It's been Paige.